Let's talk to Nicole Elliott. She is a private investor and technical analyst. Very good morning to you, Nicole.
Hello.
Right, so we have three thought-provoking slides, as always. Let's kick off with the first one. Cotton. Looks like a triangle formation to me.
That's right. We're talking triangles today, Nick. And I thought we'd start off with this one. It's actually cotton in Zhengzhou. They've got a very big commodity futures exchange there, which is doing very well. And volume is excellent in this one too. But you can see that we've got two types of triangle. We've got the very long, flattish one, and then we've got the shorter, higher one. And this is important. A couple of things. First of all, triangles tend to be continuation patterns. So you exit the triangle, more often than not, but it's not guaranteed, in the same direction in which you entered it. So there on the far left of the chart, you can see that we came in from a lower low and then triangulated for a year and a half. Can you believe it? And then it burst higher. And this is the point here, is that the measure target of a triangle is the height of itself. So the long triangle, you can see that the measurement target was met within 3 weeks, comfortably met within 3 weeks. This one, the measured target, is going to be quite a bit more because the height of the triangle is that much higher. We haven't broken out of it yet. We did gap higher on Monday.
Right.
And that's partly because of that typhoon Mangkhut, which hit the Chinese mainland on the weekend of the 15th of September. And so, therefore, the feeling was that it might well affect the cotton crop, as they seem to have come back inside the triangle, so nothing happening yet, but definitely one to look for, and I would suggest that the prices go higher from a current level of nearly 16,000 yuan per metric ton. I'd suggest we'll put on another 3,000 yuan.
Okay, so we're bullish on that chart formation. Let's move on to the Turkish lira. Again, another triangle.
I know, and it's sort of, this one actually, well, we've got loads of triangles all the way along, haven't we? I think I've got 4 of those sort of little flattish ones, haven't I? And then the most recent one is very much higher. And actually you can see, I would probably describe it as a pennant, which is a triangle on the top of a flagpole, like you sort of get as you're going around the golf course.
Yep.
That sort of shape, isn't it? The height of this is very much bigger than the previous ones. Now, I'm fairly confident that putting up interest rates isn't going to solve the problem in Turkey. I mean, that's
625 basis points, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Argentina is currently at 6,000 basis points. And are you surprised that GDP fell by 4.2% in the second quarter alone in Argentina? So, I mean, Turkey's got a heck of a way to catch up if they want to play catch up. You know, and I just don't see it's going to help. President Erdogan has put in some new decrees very recently. The first one is that all real estate transactions must be carried out in Turkish lira, which tells me that there must have been an awful lot of circumventing things via property transactions. That's number one. Number two, he's also put out another decree that large corporates and things like that have to try and redenominate their debt into Turkish lira. I mean, it's not an easy thing to do. You don't just, change the sign on the front of the note, do you? I mean, it doesn't work like that. And the other problem is that a lot of rents are pegged to the value of the euro.
Right.
So the rents are going up and the retailers just can't pass it on to their customers.
Okay, so the textbooks would say we break out in the direction of the underlying trends, and this is a pausing pattern, let's call it. How much further upside has the dollar got here?
Well, quite a lot, really. And also what kicks in now is the law of bigger numbers, right? A percentage on a big number is a much bigger number than a percentage on a teeny little number. Agreed?
Yep.
So here, instead of looking at pips or cents or whatever, we're talking whole liras now.
Right.
So let's say our pennant is centred at about 6.25 lira per euro. Now, the height of that pennant, even if you want to measure it conservatively, it starts at 4.7 and ends at 7. So that's a good 2.25 lira. So I'd have to add 2.25 onto 6.25.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that gets you to 8.5.
Okay. All right. So you've been warned, people. Okay, let's wrap up now with the BTP. This is the yield. Again, lots of sort of macroeconomic headlines on this country. This would suggest that the yield's going higher, would it not?
Again, you can see, we've got two triangles on the chart, one a flatter, longer one, and one a more dynamic, taller one. So they're quite different, but like the cotton ones, aren't they? It's very, very similar to that.
Yeah.
Both times, you went in from a lower level, i.e. lower yield. We started off at about 1%, where now my triangle is now centred at 3%. Now, that doesn't sound terrible, because that's what a US 10-year Treasury is yielding. Okay, so you think, oh, well, that's all right. The BTP, the Italian Treasury, is yielding 3%, same as the US. Well, that's okay. That's very decent, I'd say. I'd say it's, quite a challenge for Italy to manage to issue paper, it's the biggest economy in the world. The trouble is that the Bund, its nearest competitor, yields just 50 basis points. So Italian paper yields 6 times what German paper does, the exact equivalent. Well, you don't have a chance in hell, do you, competing on that level? Added to that, the political situation in Italy is unusual. I'm not going to say unprecedented, because governments come and go in Italy at sort of one per annum practically over the last since independence. But what you've got is a puppet prime minister in Giuseppe Conte, and the only reason he is the prime minister is the head of the two that are joined up. You can't have one of them above the other one, can you? So hence neither the five-star Di Maio nor the League Salvini could have been prime minister. Well, that's okay. That's quite a clever one, right? And the trouble is that Salvini is definitely coming across as the stronger of the two. More and more, he's imposing. He's out there. He's campaigning. He's doing all sorts. And the finance minister is Giovanni Tria, who is A, an academic, B, goes along with Mr. Salvini's ideas, all except that he thinks Italy should stay in the Eurozone. But I don't think he can sort of hold his own against these other two far more powerful men. Yeah.
Okay, so how much upside have we got on that slide?
Well, doing it exactly like we've done the other ones, right? So the BTP 10-year yield went from 2.3 to 3.3%, roughly. So that's another 1% on top of 3. So that gets me to 4%. Now, this is not where it was at the height of the chaos in 2012, right? But the issue here, what really does matter, is that people are not waiting. They're voting with their feet and have been doing so for months. And they are selling this paper. And a lot, the holdings have switched from foreign bankers, pension funds, whatever, and it's all stuck at the ECB.
Yes.
So basically what we're doing is we're swapping German exports, trade surpluses, for BTPs at the ECB. Now, how does that grab you? Does that sound like a sensible trade?
That's a separate chapter we don't have time for today. Nicole, as always, thank you very much for your time.